It's race week, guys, and it's the Miami Grand Prix on this weekend. So ahead of the event, I'm going to look at the 5 most incredible, unforgettable moments from this race in Formula 1 so far. Let's not delay, guys. Let's get into it. So there's only been 3 Miami Grand Prix so far in Formula 1, but there's been some pretty eventful milestones during these events, and all 5 of these are going to take place in 2023 and 2024. The opening event in 2022 was not the most eventful, I must be honest, but 2023, I think, did make up for that because there were definitely some standout moments and some incredible performances. Some big surprises too. The first of these being Charles Leclerc crashing out in qualifying and causing a whole heap of things to happen at that point. Now, of course, Leclerc is kind of known as potentially the best qualifier in Formula 1. He has so many pole positions to his name, especially when you compare it to his overall race victories, but he made an uncharacteristic mistake in 2023, bringing out the red flags and ending the session early. Now, the second moment is something that happened as a knock-on effect of that, and that is Max Verstappen's charge from the 5th row of the grid to victory. So because Leclerc crashed, Verstappen was unable to set a competitive second time. He qualified down in P9 as a result of that. His teammate Sergio Perez, who at this point was still in contention for the championship. The rounds before this were basically shared between Verstappen and Perez, Red Bull looking like the dominant force that we came to expect during this time. There wasn't a lot between them in the championships. 2 wins to both of their names in the opening 4 rounds, for example. And Perez looked as though he might actually get the championship lead if Verstappen was unable to recover from his lowly starting position. But recover he very much did. He stormed through the field to take the lead with barely half the race gone. He overtook him just after the only pit stop during the race, and Verstappen at that point, that very much crushed Perez's confidence, and from there the two diverged massively in terms of their overall performance. And eventually, of course, Perez ended up leaving Red Bull, getting ousted because of his lack of performance. That is the moment where you can trace all of that back to. That was an absolutely crushing defeat for Checo Perez. But let's talk about last year's Grand Prix, because there was plenty to talk about, both good and bad. I'll get the bad out of the way first with the third moment that we want to go through here. Kevin Magnussen and his defending against Sir Lewis Hamilton. I mean, I was raging at this. I couldn't believe what K-Mag was doing there. He very much has a reputation for getting the elbows out and being abrasive. We saw that a few races before that as well in Saudi Arabia, where he basically held up half of the field so that Nico Hülkenberg could actually get a strong points finish for Haas, and he did a similar job here during the sprint race, but yeah, so many penalties, and because of this, eventually he did end up getting a race ban later in the year for another offence that he got, so it did have a knock-on effect there. But during this race, it was an absolute joke. Kevin Magnussen got 3 10-second penalties, 30 seconds of penalties in a sprint race, which is only a third distance of a Grand Prix race. Very much deserved, ruined Hamilton's race, and then I think Hamilton actually Hamilton got a penalty as well later in the Grand Prix for speeding in the pit lane. So the misery was very much compiled there for Hamilton with that one. But yeah, Magnussen's defending is something that we cannot forget, and we will not let K-Mag forget. But to be honest with you, probably doesn't care. But on the good side of things, we did see an incredible drive from Daniel Ricciardo. I want to highlight this because it was absolutely fantastic. Getting 4th place in the sprint, he qualified in P4, he finished in P4, he held off the likes of Oscar Piastri and Carlos Sainz behind him. Very, very impressive result for the Aussie, who had overall a very bad year. Of course, he didn't finish the year. He was ousted in favour of Liam Lawson later in the campaign after Singapore. So this was very much a bit of a swan song. One last really great performance by the Honey Badger on his comeback in Formula 1. Unfortunately, didn't work out for him, but this was very much an incredible moment in the sun for the Australian. But we can't talk about moments in Miami without talking about Lando Norris getting his first Formula 1 victory. I think it was 110 races into his Grand Prix career. It was definitely over 100 races before he actually managed to win his first race in 2024 at the Miami Autodrome. Now, he was a bit lucky with this. The safety car came out at the right time, but he was knocking on the door very much when it came to getting that first victory. He had a lot of podiums. I think he may have held the record for the most podiums without a victory before he got his victory. He was up there with Martin Brundle and Nick Heidfeld, of course, Quick Nick being up there as well, two of the greats to never get a Grand Prix victory. But of course, Lando Norris put that right, got his first victory in 2024, got another 4 since then, but boy, does he need to get a 6th overall in Formula 1 this weekend. He absolutely desperately needs it. But will he get it? We'll see what happens. But yeah, those are the 5 most incredible moments in Formula 1 in Miami. Let us know your picks in the comments below, guys, and who's going to get the victory this weekend. Norris, Verstappen, Piastri, who is your money on this weekend in Florida? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more like this, and have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world today.